Here we go again, fear-mongering for the sake of that hard-earned cash. So if you haven't heard, Quantic Dreams, the creators of Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, aka the creators of David Cage's Hacky Dream, are under fire all of a sudden. Not because someone finally called them out for making boring, terribly written games. No, what are you, fucking stupid? People always pretend like they love those games because they're so visually stunning and well written. Whatever, motherfuckers. No, it's for stupid, dumb things involving their upcoming Detroit Beyond Two Human where a recent trailer showed us some domestic abuse shit that made the old folks have their heart attacks prematurely because think of the children. Oh no. Think of the children. Now, if you're not familiar with the style of games Quantic Dreams make, essentially they're all cinematic games that have a small amount of actual gameplay and are more focused heavily on story and choices. I've never been a big fan of their games and I feel like the writing is absolute dog shit sometimes, yet because they're one of the few people that actually treat their games like movies rather than games, people for some reason think that they're really good or something, I don't know. That aside, Quantic Dreams' new game is all about androids in the future and the philosophy of what makes a human, and basically there's some hints of robo-racism and other big ideas. Honestly, it doesn't look too bad, but judging by Quantic Dream's track record alone, I'm just gonna reserve my judgment till the game comes out. But as previous games goes, Detroit is all about the choices you make and the consequences of said action. This trailer is one of the many that has shown the consequences one can face if going through one route or the other. The biggest focus of this trailer was of course the domestic violence occurring between this swamp creature and his daughter. You play as a recently rebooted android who is basically like this nanny slash housemaid, essentially for this slummy house thing, whatever. This trailer is implying that you have the choice to stop the abuse between the daughter and the father, or you can just let it happen, resulting in the little girl's death. Pretty heavy shit. You don't usually see those kinds of themes or topics get covered in video games often, and boy howdy, not a lot of people were pleased. Well, mainly people who were born in the Jurassic period weren't pleased. See, because apparently video games are for kids, only for kids, and they should never be artistically free to talk about such atrocities because, once again, think of the children, the poor innocent children whom we must keep pure. Now keep in mind that most of the people outraged by this trailer are of course child protective organizations who think this trailer is perverse, disgusting, shameful. Most of these organizations damning Quantic Dreams and telling them that they should be ashamed of themselves and that child abuse isn't entertainment or fun and they shouldn't be trivializing such a real thing. Adding that they, Quantic Dreams that is, ultimately should censor these scenes or halt the game's production entirely. And boy, that's a lot of strong hate for a fucking trailer. And I have some strong opinions for this too. Mainly the point that a lot of these organizations have, which is that the abuse of a child should never be used as entertainment. Well, yeah, of course, that's terrible. Children should never be exploited in such a way that we can get some laughs or entertainment out of it. But I swear I feel like the people talking about this game just have no semblance of what a video game actually is. They're all making it seem like you abused this 10-year-old girl portrayed in this trailer to reach some sort of baby beating high score or some shit. No, I mean that's not the case at all. You have the choice to either save the child or let her die by the hands of her father, which happens sometimes in more terrible cases of child abuse. Yet of course these guys are seeing what they want to see because they want to start outrage or I don't know, some other agenda that is equally as stupid. The other thing that I want to point out is the nature of which video games are treated. Like, yes, games are ultimately entertainment, but they are no lesser an art form as, say, a movie. Yet people still seem to have this cognition that video games are still structured like fucking Galaga or something, and it's still about saving the princess. Games are far more complex nowadays and have now surpassed the movie industry. Why is it that we can have movies featuring domestic abuse and child abuse and that's okay because it's an Emmy-nominated movie featuring your favorite jerk-off material, yet when a game wants to take on a heavy topic like that, they're cursed off because video games are played by little babies and think of the children? That's actually something I've been holding off too. There's one quote here that actually pisses me off more than anything else, and that is by Peter Saunders, founder of the National International Association of People Abused in Childhood, who said abusers will get off on this stuff. And the other things we know beyond question is that video games end up being played by children, and scarily, the proliferation of salacious and abusive images is actually encouraging violence and abuse. To which I say, what kind of fucking kid wants to play Detroit? Kids are either gonna be playing Mario or whatever first-person shooter game is popular at the moment because they want to be cool or edgy. And plus, if parents are really scared about this, then they have the whole ESRB thing, which, if you don't fucking know what it is, it's the rating system. It tells you the fucking rating of the games you play. We don't live in the 90s anymore, ergo, you can't make that kind of shitty argument anymore where you're like, duh, I didn't know rated M meant for adults, duh. If you're really scared of your kids getting their hands on something like Detroit, which I don't think is the worst thing ever, then be a smart consumer and research what your fucking kids are playing. Don't blame the game. The last thing I want to talk about is the censorship of this game. It's really not that big of a deal. I don't think this game will be censored or fucking canceled because of one scene, and it doesn't seem like most people who watch that trailer even give a shit because it has a ton of likes rather than dislikes. But whoever thinks that this game should be censored or canceled because of one abusive scene are really dumb dipshits. So are we going to just sweep domestic violence under the rug just because it exists in a game? What, games can't talk about it now? I guess fucking movies can. Let's just keep that shit hidden from the rest of the world, because say it with me, think of the children. Well, that's bullshit. I just don't think showing a scene of domestic violence calls for drastic measures such as censorship. This sheds light on terrible things that happens behind closed doors. This is not trivializing or normalizing it. It's showing that it happens, and it's showing that violence begets violence, not that violence should result in violence. The kid ends up shooting her dad in the end, but that doesn't mean that, oh, you shot the abuser, hooray, 20 experience points for you, little girl, you just won this level. Now you can go on the daddy killing spree bonus level. Yippee! Like, of course fucking not. Just because you're too scared to show people what abuse is doesn't mean you should shut someone up for portraying a real life issue artistically and through their own media. Here's a suggestion though, like, if you're really offended, fucking don't buy the game.